Dundalk.
Hello and welcome to Tolka Park for this afternoon's FAI Carlsberg Cup final as the holders Bohemians take on Dundalk. Well, it's Dundalk's first appearance in the FAI Cup final since 1993. Bohemians, on the other hand, have become something of a regular fixture on Cup final day in recent seasons. It's 67 years since these two sides last met at this stage of the competition. It finished 4-3 to Bohemians that day. What will be the outcome this afternoon? Double winners last year, Bohemians have reached their third consecutive FAI Cup final. For Gypsies manager Stephen Kenny, it's not uncharted territory, leading Longford Town to last year's decider against Bohs. Glenn Crowe is in sparkling form with 31 goals this season. He's scored in every round of the Cup, but can he find his range again today as Bohs bid to retain their crown? Condemned to Division 1 status last weekend, the Cup final this afternoon. It's been a bittersweet season for Dundalk. Manager Martin Murray is no stranger to success in this competition. He won it as a player in 1975 with Home Farm and in '88 with Dundalk. After their demolition of Shamrock Rovers in the semi-final, can Dundalk bridge a 14-year gap and bring the Cup back to Oriel? Well, there's the Bohs team arriving just a short time ago. Stephen Kenny, their manager, on the left of picture. Stephen Caffrey there as well. And Kevin Hunt, will he get his hands on that famous old trophy come the end of the game today? And the Bohemian supporters, they've been here for about the last half an hour. A number of them, more will arrive. And there are the mascots for the game this afternoon. Big day for them, and they're enjoying the sunshine. And the scene at Tolka, well, it's a lovely one. The pitch has recovered. It was pretty bad here a few weeks ago, but it really is in excellent condition for this afternoon's final. Now I'm joined in studio by Brian Kerr and also by Paul Doolan, currently the manager of UCD, and he's got more cup pedigree than Crufts. He's won 6 FAI Cup medals, one of course up the north. Lads, welcome to you both. Paul, this day must bring back some great memories for you. Not too long ago, of course, from Shells in 2000, but it is a special day for the players and the fans, isn't it?
Oh yeah, without doubt. I mean, no matter whether it's your first or whether it would be your third, as in the case of some of the Bohs players, it's the third cup final on the trot. Some of the Dundalk players are having their first cup final, and it's a marvellous day no matter what. You know, it's great as you say. Pitch looks marvellous now. I haven't walked it. Sometimes they look well and you get on them, but it's a great day. Weather's excellent, and hopefully we get a good game.
Absolutely, it's good to have you with us today, Brian. You as well. And I wanted to maybe make the point with you, Brian, that I think after all that's gone before with the registration thing, the league needs a good cup final today, doesn't it?
Well, it could do with a good match, all right. A nice finish to the season. I think the ground might be near enough to being full. It's a very good chance of a good game. Bohs will go out and have a go. I expect them to have a lot of the ball. It depends on how Dundalk approach it, whether they try to be negative and stop Bohs playing. That will, with the pitch being a little bit tight here, it's possible that way. But as distinct from what you've said there, I don't think the pitch is in great condition. I think they've done well to get it in the shape it's looking, but there's quite a lot of bearish areas on the pitch.
OK, Brian, well, we'll see how that copes over the 90 minutes of the game. Let's move on. Dundalk, of course, have the dubious honour of only being the second club to contest the FAI Cup final, having been relegated in the same season. Bray were the first in '99, and they actually went on to win the Cup. It's been a long road for both sides to get to today's final. Earlier in the week, we spoke to the two captains, Kevin Hunt and David Crawley, about their long journey to Tolka.
In the second round we had Longford. It was a crunch game because Stephen had just taken over. We started off the game really well. We needed to get the first goal. We scored it, and then the confidence flowed through the team after that, and we put them on one of our better performances. And in the end we won 4-1, so it was a good result. Third round we drew Cove at home. People said it was going to be easy because they're at the bottom of the table. It was a fairly comfortable victory, I must admit, and we won 2-0 in the end, so it was a good win. In the quarter-final we drew Bray. another tough game. I think it's the third year in a row we'd drawn there. So in the first game at Dalymount we drew 1-1. We went to the Carlisle grounds a few days later and we put in one of our best performances of the season and won 4-0. In the semi-final against Derry, it was a tough game. A lot of people expected them to maybe snatch a win or at least a draw to get us back to the Premier. But luckily, Trevor Moore scored a great goal to make it 1-0. And when it looked to be going for a replay, Corey popped up with a penalty, winning penalty.
I remember sitting in the house saying to myself, are we going to get a junior team? Or are we going to get a Premier League team? And then we were drawn against Galway at home. It was a tight game. Aaron O'Callaghan scored, and then they scored. Then it needed a replay, and then we went down to Galway and everybody was saying, during the week, Galway, no way, not going to win, they're going to win. We got past that round, Matt Riley scored. That was it, into the half for the third round against Kilkenny, I'm saying to ourselves, Kilkenny away, should be alright, and then we went down there and in fairness to Kilkenny, they were all over us in the first half. The second half we came out there and we played very well and we got through that one. So then we were on to Finn Harps, flying in the first division. We kept them quiet, but they got a draw, but they came for the game, no real call. Went back to Ballybuffet, and again, everybody's saying, Dundalk is only guy. We hung on in there. James Keddy got 2 goals, set us up for a bumper crowd in Oriel Park for the semi-final. I remember saying, imagine winning this and getting home that Shamrock Rovers, one of the best supporters teams in the League of Ireland, the Cup semi-final. Like for me, even to get the Cup semi-final as captain would be a great achievement. We took it to them and we started, like Garry Haylock got the first goal and I'm saying to myself, this is it. We got the second, 2-0 up at half time and we're sitting in the dressing room. I can remember just sitting down with my hands shaking, adrenaline. I was going adrenaline, not hearing what the manager was saying to me, just get out. Then I could hear at the end, get the third goal. So we went out there and we got the third goal. And from then on in, we just played football and we got the fourth and it could have ended up 6.
Well, some great goals and some great memories there. Here is the Dundalk squad arriving about 20 minutes ago. You could see James Keddy going through shot. Martin Murray there as well, their manager. We understand James Keddy is not playing today, but a big afternoon for the Dundalk squad. And their fans making their presence felt already. They've travelled in big numbers down the motorway from Dundalk. I reckon he's probably a Bohemians fan, looking like a character, the two of them, out of a Star Wars movie, I think. They've been up since about 4 o'clock doing all that. And, well, it just gives you an example of the colour and the great colour around this fantastic occasion at Tolka Park. That is the scene. The two teams out warming up at the moment and, well, looking forward for the game to kick off. Now, Bohemians are going for their 3rd FAI Cup in a decade, their 2nd in succession and their 7th overall. Dundalk, for their part, have won 8 FAI Cups, which is second only to the record holders Shamrock Rovers. Now, at a special function in Dundalk last month, the 1952 team was honoured on the 50th anniversary of their cup win. Nick Coffey caught up with a few of the legendary names from that great team.
Dundalk are well used to winning trophies. Indeed, only Shamrock Rovers have won the cup on more occasions. And 2 weeks ago, some of the surviving members of the historic cup-winning team of half a century ago got together and were honoured with a civic reception by the local council. On that day back in 1952, Dundalk beat Cork 3-0 in a replay. But for the men here today, it was a memory often savoured over the intervening half-century.
It was a game where everybody excelled and probably played 110% almost entirely all the way through. So, yeah, there were some things I did or some things a lot of other guys did, but the goals, the way they came about and the celebrations afterwards, yes, they stand out.
I slipped the ball in the very first minute to John Fairn. He dummied it to Paddy Mullen and the goal was scored and the game was over after 2 minutes because as you know, the Cork team weren't very much up for it. We certainly were up for it.
Yeah. But a great night here tonight, seeing all the old pals.
Unbelievable. Like, you put yourself in my position. 50 years after. There's not many people will be talking 50 years after a sporting event, like, you know, half a century, Nicky.
You know, it was easy playing with them guys. You know, and Barry Clark there, Joe Ralph the far side, and Johnny Fern. These guys could run like anything. It was easy playing, you know. I never experienced that until years later when I played in the States with a similar type of a team.
Well, it was a terrific day for us, you know, a terrific day to get to the final, and there was, as we see from the photographs, a terrific crowd there was there, you know, and the battle we had to get a draw in the first game, and then completely outplaying them in the replay, you know, and getting a real good storming win in 3-0. And that was, you know, it was great for those boys that were playing in the game, and the only thing I was feeling that I'd have loved to be out with them.
These to me, I was 7 years of age, these were big men, and when I walk in, and Leo McDonough doesn't come up to my blooming chest, and he was a fabulous player. I mean, all of these, they were heroes.
Your father was a big man.
Well, he was a big man, but these were heroes. The town says so.
But tonight, it was all about that great night back in 1952. The Cup, for only the second time, was brought back to the border.
Well, they hope so too here today. The Ballybock end of Tolka Park in Dublin, where the Dundalk fans will watch this afternoon's FAI Cup final, and more colour from the Bohemian supporters there in the Riverside stand. And we reckon with about, 20 minutes to go to kick-off, that the ground will be very close to full for this final. Now we're going to take a short break. Join us again in a few minutes when we'll be hearing from the two managers as we continue our build-up to this afternoon's FAI Cup final.
A tough enough passage to get here, and the players have worked very hard, and they deserve to be playing on this day.
It's probably the biggest game that some of them have played in, so I mean, if they can't get motivated for that, then they've got a problem.
You'll never believe who I bumped into during the week.
Who?
I met Michael.
The Michael?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Here, in New York.
So?
So nothing.
But he still looks great.
Well, yeah. But nothing compares to my John, who, as you know, is so cosmopolitan. He's so handsome. He's
sitting right beside you.
Yeah.
Daytime calls to the USA are just 19 cents per minute, even less at evenings and weekends. Bring someone closer with Aircom.
Because Bold has a built-in easy iron conditioner, it's great value in any currency.
That's Andre, the designer shirt for men.
Now you can get more than €60 per month free through the government savings scheme from EBS. That's more than €750 a year, or more than €3,800 over 5 years. And that's before you add the interest from EBS. Call us now at EBS.
Can stop a killer, except the man who knows his face. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Collateral Damage. In cinemas now.
Well, this is what they're playing for this afternoon at Tolka Park, that famous old trophy, the FAI Carlsberg Cup. The Dundalk mascots here for the final. and the Tala Festival Band will be providing the entertainment, and indeed are providing the entertainment for the two sets of fans here at Tolka. Now, of course, it's been a season of contrasting fortunes for the two managers of Dundalk and Bohemians. Stephen Kenny left Longford Town and took over at Bohemians in early December. He guided them from relegation candidates to 4th in the league and, of course, to today's cup final, while Martin Murray saw his side relegated last weekend, having lost only one of their last 8 league games. Here's how the two managers assess today's final.
This year didn't go so well, but it's managed to. We certainly in recent weeks we've started to do well, and if we could win the cup and qualify for the UEFA Cup, it would mean a really good season.
It's always a great game to be involved in. I've been lucky enough to play in 3 of them, I think, and it's a great day. And but from the club's perspective, you know, if we could win the cup, it would probably be the springboard to you know, bounce back next year, because you know, I think that we're more than good enough to do that. And you know, with the season is starting, you know, fairly quickly, so we mightn't have too long to think about it.
People would say we'll be slight favourites, but a lot of people will fancy Dundalk because of the great run they've had. They've managed to I think only lose 1 in the last 10 or something, and I was at that game. That was against St Pat's last week, and we're very unlucky to lose that game. They had the better chances, so they found a self-belief in recent weeks that if they had had earlier in the season, they would have finished much higher up the table. So I wouldn't see as being strong favourites, slight favourites maybe.
We're going in as underdogs because basically on the league form and whatever, Bohs are a better team than us. We played them a few weeks ago, and you know, they absolutely pasted us, although we were lucky enough to draw. So, you know, based on that, they're justifiable favourites. But you know, the odds-on shots get turned over now and again.
Dundalk have a lot of experienced players. The 4 or 5 players have played in the cup final before, and players have won leagues. So I think this is a closer game yet again. And on a once-off game like this, there'll be very little in it.
I'm a big fan of Kevin Hunt. I think he is the best midfielder in the country. He gets on it, he passes, he can tackle, he's brave and stuff like that. So we've got to try and negate him, and because he makes them tick. Obviously, Glenn Crowe up front, you know, he gets goals. I mean, and I think when somebody is like that, you've got to watch them. But I think from all over, and as I said, because they're full time, you know, they have the advantage on us and a lot of other teams who are part time, because they can go and they can work on their set plays. They have to know their shape, this, that, and whatever. So they have an advantage in that sense as well.
I think the players themselves are confident in their own ability. Most of them have played in the cup final. That experience can only be an advantage. However, you've still got to perform. You know, there's no point. Talk is cheap, and you can talk about you know, ambition and the need to perform well, but I prefer if we've done our talking on the pitch. You know, I constantly ask the players to let their football do the talking, and you know, I'll be asking them to do that again this weekend.
The challenge for our guys is that they've, you know, one game, one off. You go out, you've got to match these guys, and show the public that you're better players than them. And I think that's the challenge, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to rise to it.
Well, it will be a big challenge for both sets of players here at Tolka Park today. Paul, first of all, I suppose the one thing with both teams, for different reasons, there's so much at stake.
Without doubt, I mean, they take Bohs, as Stephen says, it's a chance for them. For whatever reason, only the players would know why during the early part of that season that they didn't really maybe want to do it, and Stephen's come in, he's taken over the team, and they seem to have upped again. And as he says, possibly if they had played like that early on, I certainly believe they would have been finishing a lot higher than what they did. They're a full-time club, and it takes a lot of money to run a full-time club, and a position in Europe would probably be a certain, or they would certainly need it, you know, to sustain the running of the club. Dundalk, they've been relegated, as Martin says. It's possibly a springboard if they were to go on and win the cup to maybe getting straight back up, you know. So for different reasons, the clubs have their different reasons to want to win the cup, you know.
Brian, will it be difficult for Martin today to lift the players? They were so down after last week.
Well, I signed both of the managers as players there. I don't think it probably says something about me, but they are deeply committed football thinking men. And I'm sure Martin has looked at this match in great detail over the last week. He sees a chance to rescue their season, which has been a disappointment. I'm sure he has thought deeply about the tactics and the strategy they're going to put in place today. He's talked about keeping a watch on Kevin Hunt. He would probably put John Flanagan in there to mark him today. I'm sure he has it well thought through about how his own team are going to play to get the maximum out of his players. As he said, he just needs them to do it for one day today, 190 minutes. Bohs seem to have all the trump cards in their favour, but if Martin gets it right and his team delivers what he wants them to do, they have a great chance in the match.
OK, Brian, for the moment, thank you. Let's go down to the touchline here at Tolka Park and join Michael Lester, who's talking to Liam O'Brien.
Well, Dara, I can tell you the pitch here at Tolka Park is in absolutely superb condition for this afternoon's Cup final. Great atmosphere. In fairness to the people of Dundalk, they have travelled in great numbers to support the side here this afternoon. However, they can still only put 11 players on the pitch, and Liam O'Brien of Bohs, I'm sure that you'll be hoping it's not the right 11. How are things in the Bohs camp this morning? Everything going well?
Well, our preparations have been spot on this week. We couldn't ask for anything better. We prepared really well. We've had a good week's training, and now it's up to the players now to produce on the day.
You were here slightly before 2 o'clock, which is much earlier than Dundalk. You've also done a little five-a-side game out there.
Yeah, well, we do that in a warm-up before the game. We try to get the lads a little bit relaxed, get them well stretched off, have a little five-a-side and make sure they're prepared right for the game.
Liam, you've enjoyed many occasions playing for Ireland, obviously Shamrock Rovers, your time Newcastle across the water. This is another big occasion today. I'm sure you're looking forward to it.
I am looking forward to it. It's a great occasion, and it's really nice to see a lot of young kids here today. The preparations are going well, as I said to you, but there's an awful lot of young kids today. They're all the face painting, you can see all the hats in their hair. So the atmosphere in the ground now is building up great for a great cup final. Hopefully the two teams now want to put on a great show for the fans.
Liam, thank you for your time. Enjoy the match. Thank you very much. That's Liam O'Brien there now. I just have to mention one other person. Kieran Burns is his name. I met him earlier on. He comes from Geary Boulevard in San Francisco. Now I know Bohs and Dundalk have supporters all over the world. I bet you he wins the prize. He's travelling the furthest.
He certainly does. OK, Michael, thank you very much indeed. The Bohs supporters in the Riverside stand, and I tell you, as we look around Tolka Park, it will be very close to full come kick-off in around 8 minutes time. A really good noise and lots of colour, lots of music and all that sort of thing being provided by the two sets of supporters. Now we're going to talk again with Paul and Brian about two key players here this afternoon, and Brian, if we could start with you. You've picked out Kevin Hunt of Bohemians as somebody who will be very important today.
Well, I think Martin Murray mentioned him earlier. He's a smashing player. He's been, maybe along with Paul Ozaman, the lad beside me here, the best midfield player over the last 3 years in the league. He's a key man. You see him here just picking up off throw-in, always aware to change the play, aware of where all his teammates are. Here's one that came to him messily in midfield, picks up Tony O'Connor, starts off the attack, full-back coming into the play. Tony gets a shot in here, well saved, but Russell Payne eventually. But I think the way he links the play and gets forward is crucial for Bohemians. Here he is getting up ahead of his midfield into the box onto a pass, and we see him doing that repeatedly. Here he is getting onto Trevor Malloy's cutback here. Finish, bit of a funny one, sits it down into the ground last week against Shelbourne to win the match. But everybody knows the quality of Kevin Hunt. I think that Dundalk will certainly try to negate him, as Martin Murray said today. Obliviate him, I think he might want to try and do. But he has been a fantastic player in this league. I love watching him, and he could be the main man today for Bohs. But they've so many players that could turn the game for them.
Absolutely a difficult team to pick. Paul, you've picked Garry Haylock from Dundalk as somebody to watch out for today.
That's right, yeah, I think Garry, particularly in the last probably 5 or 6 games, he's come good for Dundalk, and here you have him here. Like, he's a strong type of player. He possibly, if they maybe had assigned him a bit earlier, he probably could have done even better for them. Here you watch him, he holds the ball up, and I think that could be important today, because as Brian said earlier, you would imagine Bohs would have a lot of possession, but when it goes up, he's got to hold it. And as you see, he turns out here, gives it to James Kelly, takes it off, and he's a confidence player, and he opens it out here. He's a good goal scorer. You'll see him here. He's setting up James Kelly for the third or the fourth goal. James slips inside and hits it with his Christy Brown. Here's one of his first goals. He clips it out well, and the next thing is, if you watch him, he spins, and here you go. There he is in to finish it. You know, and he has that knack of scoring goals there. If you watch him here, he comes from behind Jason Caldwell, I think, standing on the line, and he knows the positions to be in there. And I think, as I said, the fact that they may be under pressure, if it gets up to him, that if he can hold it for them, he might be able to do something and relieve them.
I understand the teams are about to come out, so guys, we'll go down to predictions. Who do you think's going to win it, Brian?
Well, I think Bohemians have to be favourites. They have all the trump cards all around the pitch. They seem to have better players in nearly every position, but it doesn't mean that they win the cup. We've seen it before.
Okay, Paul?
I would probably say, to be honest, Darrow, you'd have to go with Bohs. I think that form on the last probably 8 games of the season, including the cup ones, they've been smashing. They've got some excellent players all over, as Brian has said. You talk about, you nullify Kevin Hunt, you've Glenn Crowe, you've got David Morrison, you've Mark Rutherford. They can get goals from everywhere. Now, again, Dundalk can use that to their advantage. Pundits tipping them to be beaten, and it wouldn't be the first time. So hopefully it's a good game, but I would have to say I would fancy Bohs.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to it. We hope you enjoy it at home. Let's join our cup final commentary team. Owen Hand, and first George Hamilton.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon from the top of the Riverside stand. Yes, Tolka Park looking a treat. Joe McGloon, the FAI security officer, appears from the tunnel, and following him, the match officials and the two teams, Dundalk in the white and Bohemians in their traditional red and black. An historic day. It's the first of 2 FAI Cup finals that will be played in the calendar year 2002. Of course, with the switch to summer football, the next edition of this famous old match will take place in October. Great atmosphere around the ground, out of the streets outside Richmond Road. A throng of people, the main Drumcondra Road too. And Dundalk have come with a lot of support. Milo Corcoran, the president of the FAI, on the left, with Bertie Ahern, Taoiseach, of course, on the right. And Tolka Park is in his constituency, but that's not the reason he comes here. It's because he's a sports fan. See him at all sorts of sporting events, and he wouldn't miss this one for the world. Great noise on a beautiful afternoon with a chill breeze when you're out of the sunshine. But for many in this stadium on Richmond Road in Dublin 3, well, there is a sunshine to be basked in. Tala Youth Band about to play out on the beat. Taoiseach will meet the two teams. Dundalk, as you've heard, have an FAI Cup record that is bettered only by Shamrock Rovers. A more local Dundalk team than it has been in recent years. Certainly had its effect of bringing the crowds back to Oriel Park. And time for a smile before the off. And the Dundalk's captain, David Crawley. Bohemians team. with all that experience. Third cup final in a row, completed the double last year with victory over Longford Town. Bohs, of course, with the full-time squad. There's their manager, Stephen Kenny. He brought Longford to the final last year. A fine match it was too, a great achievement. Tommy Kelly there along with him, former stalwart of old, the Bohs. Stephen Caffrey plays at the heart of the Bohemians defence alongside Colin Hawkins, who had a spell in England with Doncaster Rovers in the conference. Dundalk back in the cup final after quite an absence. Bohemians with all the experience of these occasions. The new hairstyle for Wayne Russell, the Bohemians goalkeeper, who's gone blonde for the final. Dundalk, the black and white filling the Ballymock end. There's the man that will worry them. Glenn Crowe, 31 goals in all competitions this season, scored in every round of the cup, and that hasn't happened since 1968. Mark Rutherford, vast experience for him at this level of competition. A winner with Shelbourne on 3 occasions and with Bohemians last year as well. This is the Bohemians team. Not really any surprises there, Owen.
Well, I suppose if there was a surprise, it's maybe that Dave Hill was left out, but I think it's just the versatility of Stephen Caffrey at frees a midfield spot that Stephen Kennedy also would play a very attacking formation. Actually, Dave Morrison coming in there to allow Fergal Harker to drift into the central midfield to partner Kevin Hunt. But a very attack-minded side there.
And between them, Crowe and Malloy have a total of 44 goals this season. Chris Lawless, because of the hamstring injury to James Keddy, gets his place on the left side of the Dundalk midfield. A big day for the 20-year-old. Meanwhile, Garry Haylock, winner of the FAI Cup in 1993, when the beaten team was Dundalk and Garry Haylock was in Shelbourne's colours. And this is the Dundalk lineup on the big change that had to be made. James Keddy, their joint top scorer, having to sit this one out with a hamstring problem. So Lawless plays on the left.
Yes, and of course the same player, Chris Lawless. He had a great game in that semi-final defeat of Shamrock Rovers. But I'm very, very disappointed for James Keddy, because he is a very influential player, a very experienced player. But of course, as is mentioned in the pre-match, Garry Haylock are very important to Dundalk's chances here today.
Dublin referee for this FAI Cup final is Paul McKeown. So everything in readiness at Tolka Park for the final of the FAI Carlsberg Cup. Competition first contested in 1922, and now 80 years on, here we are on the bank of the Tolka River, ready for the action. Martin Riley stands over the ball. The game is on. Cup final of 2002, and David Crowley, Dundalk's captain, sends it long, and it's met by the other left back, Simon Webb. In goes Kavanagh. The first throw in of the afternoon. Crawley's throw. And a push there means it's a free kick to Bohemians. Tony O'Connor will take this. He scored the goal that won the cup for Bohemians last year. They beat Longford. Crow trying to help it on. It's headed away by Donald Browan, who won the cup with Bohemians back in 1992. Simon Webb is there. Stephen Caffrey. And out for the Bohs. Rowan against Crow, and this time the former Bohemians man commits the foul.
Well, looking at the Bohemians lineup, it seems that Dave Morrison has started inside. I suppose maybe not to disrupt Fergal Harkin has been outside on the right hand side of midfield all season long, so that's the way they've started.
And it's Colin Hawkins who's gone forward. Free kick will be taken by Kevin Hunt. No trouble there for John Connolly. Glenn Crow's header. The long ball goes straight to Tony O'Connor. Forward again towards Crow. Crow against Crowley. Back it goes for Hunt. Man who makes Bohemians tick. Forward again. Crow. Looking for Harkin. Dispossessed by Lawless. Harkin's won it back though. Now Hunt. Lovely balance about it. Tony O'Connor, but Lawless firmly in there. And now Garry Haylock. The flag stayed down, and Wayne Russell had to leave his goal to deny Martin Riley.
Nice bit of incisive play by starting with Chris Lawless on this side here to find the through ball to try and get Martin Riley away.
Here's Haylock. Kieran Kavanagh. Hawkins coming away with this for Bohemians. Crow timing his run well. Staying onside, Hawkins has picked him out. Still Crow. Being impeded there by Crawley. A free kick to Bohs. Hawkins has gone up again. Glenn Crow up there too as a target. Dave Morrison. Fergal Harkin with a free kick. Crawley's head helped it away. Glenn Crow there. Crow back to Rutherford. The ball has gone out for a throw to the goal.
Actually, that's I think they're trying to confuse us, those Bohemians players. There's about 5 of them have all had the shaven heads, including Glenn Crow and Trevor Malloy. So they look pretty alike out there.
Rutherford. Here's Crow for Malloy. Back for Hunt. Crosses too deep. Great atmosphere in Tolka Park this afternoon. It's as good a cup final crowd as they've had for quite a while.
And really, great credit must be given to Paddy Deegan and David Coombs, who've done such a great job on this pitch here, preparing it all week. It's in excellent condition.
It's come free to O'Connor. Crow looking for Mark Rutherford. Simon Webb. Pumped in close attendance, but he's picked out a good ball from Malloy. Taking on McGuinness, and caught by McGuinness as he went to go past him. Stephen McGuinness, flailing hand, I think, caught Trevor Malloy in the face. This is what actually happened.
Well, Trevor Malloy is always dangerous. I see that right fist coming up there, but not intentional, I wouldn't think. Stephen McGuinness just trying to get his foot in through. Trevor Malloy always dangerous. He's running at defenders with the ball at his feet because he's got a lovely skill, great ball control, body swerve, get into very dangerous positions.
John Connolly organises his wall. It's Simon Webb running over it. Harkin, good save by the keeper. Training ground routine, that. Dundalk counter. Got out by Colin Hawkins there. And he's found Dave Morrison. Dundalk attempted to apply a little pressure. Tony O'Connor. Caffrey. Trevor Malloy. And run out by McGuinness. Well, that was a well-worked free kick, causing confusion, but John Connolly had eyes only for the ball.
Well, he'd be very disappointed if he's beaten on the side that he's covering, really.
O'Connor. Malloy. Morrison. Webb peeling away to the left. Rutherford available, but Webb attempting the shot. Bringing cheers of irony from the Dundalk terrace.
Well, certainly Simon Webb coming forward at every opportunity there. It's a couple of times he's got into good positions to get crosses in, and that time try a long-range shot deflected from the corner.
Martin Murray, cup-winner himself in his time with Home Farm back in the 70s, and Stephen Kenny, his opposite number. Murray's would have been the more illustrious playing career among the two managers. And here's Rutherford, another with an illustrious career and going for his 5th FAI Cup winners medal, but that shot some way off the target.
Well, you know, it came a little bit across his body there. He just couldn't get around to get the full meat of the left foot to keep it on target.
Caffrey against Haylock. Haylock got the little touch, but Tony O'Connor was covering. Back in Wayne Russell. Interception by Kavanagh, but it's broken free for Mark Rutherford. Rutherford manages to get away from John White. Not quite the conclusion that he wished. Well, we've news from the touchline from Michael Lester.
Yes, George, just as you join me, Martin Riley is going back on the field, having changed his footwear because obviously the conditions here are very dry, very warm, and obviously very firm underfoot. So at least one of the Dundalk players has changed his footwear, and the boots are ready for one or two more.
Dundalk back to full strength. And here is Riley, because he was offside. Particularly well taken free kick, and that came off Riley. Here he is again. Hunt challenging. Harkin. Offside against Glencroe.
Well, Kevin Hunt there, you know, we were wondering what would the tactics of Dundalk be. I think it's Kieran Kavanagh is the man that detailed to follow Kevin Hunt, so we'll see him very, very close to Kevin Hunt. Again, it's another indication of how important that teams think that they're Kevin Hunt, and rightly so.
Hunts was the interception, but the ball has gone out of play. Run back by O'Connor. Hunt. And again. With Morrison to help it back. And through Caffrey, it's gone all the way back to Wayne Russell. Riley, nice layoff. Just couldn't keep it in. Chris Lawless. Bohs resuming with the throw. Dundalk with the free kick. Haylock the target. Watched by Caffrey. Taken by Brohan. Good flick on. Oh, just got a little too excited, David Hoy.
Well, there was a little opportunity there for David Hoy just to get it across low, across that penalty area.
One of the great characters of Dundalk football over the years, Tommy McConville, and still very much a part of the club. That has broken free. Fergal Harkin cut out by Crawley and fouled eventually by Harkin. Another left-sided free kick for Dundalk. This time Crawley will take it himself. A lot of movement for Dundalk up the front. Hawkins with a header away though. Kavanagh going in on Morrison, and too firmly. The referee has given the free kick to Bohemians. Simon Webb. Crow and chase. Out of the middle has come McGuinness. And Stephen McGuinness managed to prevent the corner. It'll be a throw to Bohemians.
Steve McGuinness, a very experienced defender there, you know, looking after Glenn Crow today mainly.
Hunt. Morrison. Malloy. Oh, Trevor Malloy's nice trickery, taking him away from the defender, but David Hoy put out the foot and brought him down.
This is a typical Trevor Malloy, the foot over. He does it very well, very, very skillful player.
Free kick from Webb. Hawkins with the header. Plays for handball against Crawley, but they may protest, but I think that would have been a very harsh decision had it been given.
Well, we see when this comes over here, it's Colin Hawkins just drops off and heads it down there, but I don't think there's any realistic claim for it. They claim all right, but very cool defending.
Back for O'Connor. Crow just couldn't climb high enough. Harkin trying to get in there. Cleared away by Lawless. Riley, Hawkins onto it, but a chance of a break. Brilliantly played by Hoy. Haylock and chase. Goalkeeper Wayne Russell swiftly out of his goal to make sure the danger was averted, but that was clever by Dundalk. Hoy was good. Haylock was in chase. Bohemians had pushed on forward, but Russell did his job well as the last line of defence.
Yeah, excellent goalkeeping here. He was reading that situation as soon as it came to the halfway line. He was ready to get out and beat Garry Haylock to that.
Riley headed away by Caffrey. Hoy getting in there. It's Crawley trying to force a way through. Riley again. Might come free here. And that was Flanagan. And that's a corner. Dundalk settling better to the task now. They've got over the early nerves.
Colin Hawkins does well to get across and get that block.
The first corner of this FAI Carlsberg Cup final comes after a quarter of an hour. McGuinness going up. It's still Dundalk in possession. McGuinness again. And holding his head in annoyance that went over the bar.
Good play from the Dundalk centre-back pair, and Donald Brown there showing no little skill there. Gets a good cross in, but Stephen McGuinness having to come away from the goal, trying to direct it down. We just can't get it low enough.
I'd say Martin Murray is pretty happy with the way things have evolved so far. Bohemians, well, they have an identical record to Dundalk at the tail end of the season. Unfortunately, Dundalk's good form came too late to keep them in the Premier. And it shouldn't be forgotten either that in the 3 Premier Division meetings this season there were 2 draws and 1 Dundalk win, so Bohs haven't beaten Dundalk in 2001-2002. I just wonder, is there a little edginess there? It's a push by Haylock on Hawkins. It'll be a free kick to Bohemians. I just wonder if there's maybe a little edginess about Bohs in the knowledge that on this particular season they haven't done well against Dundalk.
Yes, and I think, it's a typical example of, being rated as favourites coming into this, and people expectations, of course, and Dundalk, the first 10-15 minutes they're going to just play an upsetting game and perhaps just look for the little breakaways, and that's exactly what the pattern is developing here.
McGuinness against Malloy. Hunt. McGuinness again. Oh, he clattered into Malloy from the back there. And the free kick has been given to Dundalk for a second incident. But the initial incident, Stephen McGuinness appeared to lead with the elbow when he went in to challenge for the high ball with Trevor Malloy. But the free kick has gone Dundalk's way for a secondary incident. And Donald Brown will take it. And Stephen McGuinness is now up in attack, marked by Colin Hawkins. Drilled in by Brown. McGuinness with the head. Webb's clearance didn't quite get away at the first attempt. Crow has taken a clatter there from John White. And Donald Browans has put the ball out and let the attention come on. 50-50 ball. Glenn Crow went in to try and retrieve it and just was clattered by White. A clash of heads there. John White is also holding his head.
Well, it's when the ball is played out from Bohemians defence, it's Glenn Crow doing what he's good at, what he's supposed to do, but the challenge comes in, and we can see it here now. Both players showing a lot of courage there. Glenn Crow just putting his head down.
John White is unbothered. The oldest man in the Dundalk team at 32. Been around a bit, but yet to taste the delights of an FAI Cup final. Glenn Crow back on his feet. He will be fine. Malloy sportingly giving the possession back to Dundalk, and Glenn Crow is back. Lots of youngsters here today, and that's great to see. I'm sure they'll enjoy the occasion. Big match, big day out, and a lovely day too. Haylock beaten by Hawkins. Crawley. It's Caffrey. Now it's Kavanagh. Came off Morrison. Riley stretched in, but now it's Kevin Hunt. Malloy is chasing. McGuinness to see it back to his goalkeeper, Connell.
Good ball through from Kevin Hunt, but Stephen McGuinness just read that very well.
Harkin looking for Rutherford. White went in there and he's taken another knock to the head. You'll need the paracetamol at the end of this. But back on his feet, John White. Eyes only for the ball, of course. He won it bravely. He also got the free kick. Haylock offering plenty of movement. Rowan with the free kick. Aimed towards Flanagan, and it came off the head of O'Connor, and it's gone out for a corner to Dundalk.
As you can imagine, I mean, there's so much at stake, really, the way this season has panned out for both teams here. I mean, the UEFA spot for both, it means an awful lot for Dundalk, of course, after their disappointing end, and so you're not going to see any 50-50s pulled out of.
Dundalk's corner, and well saved. The header was from John Flanagan. Wayne Russell did what he had to do. But worrying for Bohemians, that's the second occasion from the corner that they haven't been able to mark the player who headed the ball. Harkin, still Harkin, and eventually fouled by McGuinness. You wonder really, was that as serious as the referee deemed it, because Harkin had ridden an earlier challenge. We'll look back at that last chance.
Well, it's John Flanagan. He gets a head on it, all right, but doesn't really get too much power on it. He's under pressure from Bohemians. But you're right, George, about the Bohemians will be a bit concerned about the fact that they are making contact with corner kicks and free kicks in such a dangerous position.
Well, the free kick on this occasion now is to Bohs. John Connolly had a complicated routine to deal with the last time, and he pulled off a fine save. This time, what's it to be? Simon Webb? No, it's rolled back for Crow. Lawless in the way, McGuinness helping it on its way. Now Riley on for Haylock. Good football being played by Dundalk. In towards Flanagan, cut out by O'Connor and cleared away by Caffrey. Now Hawkins. It's Morrison and on for Rutherford. Good openness about this game. Rutherford against White. He's run it out of play. It's a throw in to Dundalk. But the best football has been played by Dundalk on the counter.
It's a lovely sweeping move by Dundalk here on a breakaway. It's actually when the ball, Chris Lawless picks it up here, and it's Garry Haylock. It'll finish up with Garry Haylock here, and it's just swept out to him by Martin Riley. This is the time. Garry Haylock there. This pass here, a little bit more weight on that, and if it got past Tony O'Connor, there was big problems.
And here's Morrison for Bohemians. Kavanagh lost his footing. Put out by Browan. Very strong and direct at the back for Dundalk. White to try and bring it free for Dundalk, and he succeeded. Haylock, a little too hasty maybe. But in there to try and win it back again. Hunt going in. Ball still in play. Malloy now. But that's come straight to John Flanagan. Dundalk offering movement, but the pass was too long. Nice little switch there between Riley and Haylock to pull the markers this way and that and try to open a gap, but the pass was overhit.
Yeah, and it followed actually a free kick that was a little bit too elaborate for Bohemians.
Funny, I thought that too. Here's Rutherford. Deep cross. Retrieved by Harkin. Harkin did well there. Crawley got in the way. And that came off the chest of Kieran Kavanagh. And all the way back to Wayne Russell. And what's been a really end-to-end cup final so far. And we've got almost 25 minutes. Chris Lawless past the challenge of Malloy, then on for Haylock. An untidy play by Hawkins. Riley. Well saved.
He's looking very alert, Martin Riley there. Just, I think he tried to chip the goalkeeper on that occasion. Perhaps a drive might have been better.
Tony O'Connor. McGuinness trying to get in on Crow. O'Connor hurdling the challenge of Lawless. Pulled towards Rutherford. Rutherford very much left-footed. Had he had a right foot, the shot was on there, but he tends to favour doing things with his left. And the immediate chance was gone. Cross not a good one. He's not having the happiest of afternoons out there, Mark Rutherford.
Well, certainly when the ball came across to me, it was a little bit too far out to try it with the right foot, which of course is certainly his weaker one. But he continued the play. He got it back to it was Simon Webb.
Morrison on for O'Connor. Too deep for everybody and away for a goal kick.
Bohemians, you know, they have got into fairly good positions. That's a good example there, and the final ball has been disappointing. We've seen it from Simon Webb on the far side. We've seen it from Mark Rutherford. We've seen a little bit of it from Fergal Harkin. You know, the positions have been there for them, and I think that's something that Stephen Kenny will be trying to earn at half-time. Dundalk, for their part, I suppose they're guilty of something similar, particularly that last attack, which was a lovely sweeping movement, finished up with Garry Haylock just under hitting the pass. So both sides just not getting the final effort, as you might expect in a cup final, quite precise.
Rocker towards Riley, breaking free towards David Hoy. Rutherford the player with him. Hoy slid through for Haylock, away from Hawkins. That was an important interception by Dave Morrison, because lurking there was Kieran Kavanagh. Morrison made sure it didn't reach him. Crow. One back by Lawless. Flanagan. Riley just took too much of a touch on it as he took it away from Stephen Caffrey. But he's looking very sharp, isn't he?
Yeah, Mr. Versatile Stephen Caffrey there, just using his body just to shield the ball. You know, I think that Dundalk certainly will be the happier of the two. If you think back to the semi-final at this stage of the game, I mean, Dundalk had they didn't start too bright against Shamrock Rovers, but they bided their time, and Shamrock Rovers were very much on top in that game, and we know the final result here. So I'd say that their plan is going pretty well.
Fergal Harkin on from Malloy. Throw to Dundalk. For Riley. Haylock, but nobody far enough forward to take advantage, but a poor clearance by Hawkins. And an unfortunate ricochet there gave the possession back to Bohemians. Now it's Rutherford on for Webb. Morrison. Roy tried to make something of it, but it ran all the way through the corner. Firmly back by Webb, and then it's White. Hawkins. Cole getting there ahead of Brohan.
Jump up there beside him.
It's forward for Rutherford. Foy has cracked him back, looking for Crow. And ceremoniously away by Donald Brohan. This time it's McGuinness with the clearance. Expensive a throw. Malloy back for Webb. Rutherford. Down goes White. That'll be a free kick to Dundalk.
You just feel at this stage of the game, for what it's worth, is you know that the midfield two of John Flanagan, Kieran Kavanagh are just slightly ahead, and I think that's just given a little bit more freedom to Martin Riley and Garry Haylock. We're seeing a little bit more of them than perhaps we might say that we're seeing of Glenn Crowe and Trevor Malloy. And I think the reasons for that is the little battle that's going on in midfield at the moment.
Well, both sets of supporters are really playing their part in a very colourful occasion. Plenty of noise, plenty of atmosphere. Just lacks a goal at the moment. Kevin Hunt being impeded there, but the ball has come free for Bohemians. Now Morrison, a lovely ball forward for Hunt again. Rowan came out of the middle. Now he did well to keep it in play, but he's given the possession back to Bohemians. Rowan then retrieving the possession. Caffrey though for O'Connor. Rutherford tidied up by Hoy. This is Caffrey. Clumsy challenge by O'Connor on Lawless, and last year's match winner going to be spoken to by the referee.
Well, you can see as Tony Connor comes in just in late there. It is, as you say, clumsy, and I don't think it merited a card.
Paul McKeown letting the game take its course and not getting involved in any histrionics, and it's nice to see that from a referee, but then he is one of the best in the country because he's on the FIFA list.
It was another example of that free kick there. Donald Brown just putting a little bit too much on it, trying to get Stephen McGuinness in at the back post. A little bit heavy.
Harkin. Chase on here. So Connor forward. This is sounding in Bohemians' favour. Martin Murray getting somewhat agitated.
Take the markers, Heiser, take one each! Away!
Maybe there's reason for the manager's agitation if Dave Morrison can get a clean header on it like that. But threat from Bohemians been a long time coming.
Well, it was, John Flanagan just gets under that and allows Dave Morrison just a free header there. You know, it was a looping header he tried, but it just could have sneaked under that crossbar. A little bit lax.
Won by Hawkins. Hunt. And O'Connor. Crowley got his head there, but it's only gone as far as Crowe. Picked out Rutherford. Harkin helping it on. White got there ahead of Webb. And he was caught late by Webb. He's in the wars, John White. 2 bangs in the head and now this. Free kick against Simon Webb. Oh yes, unfortunate to get away with a card.
Yeah, just Simon Webb just perhaps a bit frustrated. It's a long way to come in support of the play there, and he just clatters into John White.
Here's Webb with the ball again. White managing to win it back. Ends up behind that goal.
I feel Bohemians have just lost their way a little bit in this game, in so much as that, you know, the 2 wide players, Mark Rutherford and Fergal Harkin, for, well, reasons that perhaps they're not getting enough of the ball they would feel, they're inclined to be crowding in to the central midfield players, and that's not helping the Bohemian game plan. I think that Stephen Kenny be well aware of that and will rectify that at half-time. And of course, for that, we must give credit to Kieran Kavanagh and John Flanagan, who are doing an excellent job on Kevin Hunt and Dave Morrison.
gone straight out of play. Morrison helped it on, now it's Malloy. Morrison again, did well there. Malloy's cross, Rutherford there, but he pushed before he headed. No question, free kick to Dundalk.
It always amazes me, actually. You get so many times this happens when, you know, it's such an open foul, if you like, right in front of the referee. Players think they get away with it, just a little push before the ball comes.
Got in the way. Well, now Glenn Crowe. There's McGuinness, ball's out, throw to Dundalk. Well, McGuinness, Steve McGuinness and Donald Brohan have policed Bohemians front two very effectively today. Free scoring Glenn Crowe hasn't really had a look in. McGuinness misjudged that, but Brohan was there to assist. But now it's Malloy on towards Crowe, who'd gone offside.
You know, you can make comments like that about Glenn Crowe and Trevor Malloy, but you know, it's they're such a deadly duo that can happen any time.
We did make reference to the fact that between them, they have 44 goals this season. 31 of those from the runaway top scorer in domestic football, Glenn Crowe. Bohs just betraying a little anxiety.
Yeah, there's an example there. You know, you got Trevor Malloy sort of playing so deep. He's trying to get it and try and create something from there.
It's Fergal Harkin now. Crowe. That didn't come off. Nor did that.
He was unlucky there, Glenn Crowe.
Rutherford. Over the top of Malloy. Chris Lawless perhaps betraying a little inexperience, opting to put it behind when he was under no pressure.
But again, you know, when the cross comes in from Mark Rutherford there, it's really not in danger land, if you like. It's okay, it gets another corner kick.
Simon Webb has gone from left back to take it with the left foot. No bother to Connolly. Rolled out for Hoy. A burst up the left by Kieran Kavanagh. Hoy tried to pick him out. Hunt has spotted it, but that's come through to Riley. Needed too long. That's a let-off for Bohemians. Hunt just lost the plot momentarily, and Riley had the opportunity but needed too long, and Bohs were able to regroup. That's a close call and a half.
Yeah, it kind of finishes up here. See, the cross comes in, and it's Kevin Hunt there. Just
here's Hunt coming in again. Rutherford. Hunt might get another go. Frantic stuff at the other end now, but now it's Riley. And Hawkins had to be good there, or Haylock was away. There's scarcely a moment to pause for breath in this. Hunt. Now Morrison. And O'Connor. On for Harkin. Tony O'Connor once more. Dave Morrison. Crowe. Hunt. And Harkin. O'Connor holding off the challenge of Kavanagh. Tony O'Connor, last year's match winner. He scored again! That is sensational. Last year against Longford, he popped up to score the winner. He hasn't scored a goal all season, and now he does it in the cup final again. Right against the run of play, Tony O'Connor got himself forward, got himself into the danger area, and he finished with a real wallop of a left foot shot, giving John Connolly no chance. Great goal, and Bohs lead 1-0.
Well, if ever there was an example of, you know, where does the danger come from? That's Bohemians. It can come from anywhere. And you know, I've seen Tony O'Connor come forward so many times this season, and he really has been so unlucky on many occasions, hitting it with the left foot. There's been saves, there's been blocks, but that time it gets in the near post. Oh, he deserves it, his career deserves it. Great finish.
35 years of age, oldest man on the pitch, and not renowned as a goal scorer at all. Much later in the game, and at the other end last year, Tony O'Connor got forward into the penalty area. Again, it was the trusty left foot, and he's done it once more. Maybe a right back, but that left foot packs a punch. It did exactly the same at the other end last year against Stephen Kenny's Longford. Now for Stephen Kenny's Bohemians, Tony O'Connor has made it 1-0.
Yes, you know, I suppose if there's a blame to be apportioned, you know, the Dundalk defenders just a little bit slow to spot the danger, perhaps thinking that Tony O'Connor was going to play a 1-2 or lay it off to the supposed danger man. But you know, he saw the opportunity and he didn't half-crack it.
Well, he makes jewellery down in Pearse Street in Dublin. He's a real gem for Bohs, isn't he?
Well, you know, we were talking about the incident at the far end of the pitch when Kevin Hunt nearly gifted the goal to Dundalk, and it was actually Fergal Harkin that tidied up things from there to block Martin Riley when it looked like there was a goal. Well, the goal had opened up for him. Just took a little bit too long, and then straight down the far end, and you got Tony O'Connor doing that.
But it was an amazing miss by Martin Riley. I mean, he's not shy in front of goal at all. 3 cup goals in Dundalk's run here. But I suppose that's the difference between these teams, really. Bohemians, sharp, committed. Dundalk, no less committed, of course, but maybe not just that bit as sharp as Bohs.
You know, you're talking about Martin Riley's chance there. I just feel he was a bit unlucky. You know, it kind of it was under his feet. He couldn't take a first-time strike at it. He was just trying to set it up, and that gave Fergal Harkin the time to get back.
Hampton Webb. Now it's Kevin Malloy. Kevin Hunt dispossessed by McGuinness, and now it's Webb. Rutherford's trying to take on White, but the winger never got going. Forward for Riley, down for Haylock, but just too far away from him. Here's O'Connor. Malloy going in, Connolly gathering it in.
How many times have we had that expression about it's a funny old game? You know, it's I think Bohemians would be the first ones to admit that, you know, that the goal came perhaps out of the blue, because Dundalk had the better exchange in terms of you know, stopping the Bohemians machine. But where are they going to come from? You can stop the Glen Crows, the Trevor Malloys, but very positive side.
Flanagan, Boy, Haylock, yes, 1-1. Garry Haylock, who rattled in 2 against Shamrock Rovers in the semi-final, has got Dundalk their equaliser.
This is brilliant. This is typical Garry Haylock. When the cross comes in, there's nothing on. But the control is brilliant, the spin is brilliant. You see when this cross comes in here, you see the control, he moves there, just turns, and it's a first-time shot with the left foot, an absolutely brilliant striker's goal. The control, the turn, the whip in, the goalkeeper's no chance. And I mean, we can't deny Dundalk deserve this.
Oh yes, and their top scorer hasn't let them down. 8 goals this season, 3 of them in the Cup. Big occasion player. Cup winner 9 years ago with Shelburne. And he's been in the Irish League for some time since up north. So he knows the big occasions. The big game player. But Garry Haylock gives Dundalk the equaliser they so richly deserve. So plenty of excitement at Tolka Park, and just when you felt Dundalk were going to have some anxious regrouping to do, at half-time Garry Haylock has got them the goal who ties it up again.
Well, you know, you talk. Here we go again. There's the cross in here, the control here. The first touch is brilliant. I know you wonder how anybody could have done it. The defender didn't do anything necessarily wrong. You just give full credit to an ace striker, an ace goal scorer.
Yeah, two of the old stagers. Well, 30's hardly old, but maybe in footballing terms it's getting there. But the veteran right back and the veteran striker got the 2 goals. And they're going kind of mad behind that goal. And we hope those lads don't get too excited from their perch. But this is the best cup final atmosphere there's been for quite a while. Colin Hawkins here. We're in stoppage time at the end of the first half. 2 minutes there'll be. Caffrey, Kevin Hunt, Simon Webb rather, unable to keep it in play. Well, they're singing all right and making a lot of noise too. It's Caffrey for Bohemians. Back again by McGuinness.
You know, as always in any sport, you know what a difference it makes. You know, when you feel that you've been given, a good performance, good account of yourselves, and perhaps on the better side on the play, and then to go one behind. You know what a boost it is to come back so quickly.
2 goals in 4 minutes. 40th minute for Tony O'Connor, 44th for Garry Haylock. Webb, Crow, Morrison. Browan out of the middle, rock solid as ever. Forward towards Riley, but the whistle sounds. The first half ends, and it's been a superb first half. Tony O'Connor getting his second cup final goal in successive years. Then Garry Haylock cancelling it out just 4 minutes later. 2 terrific goals they were too. Tony O'Connor, all his own work. The ball swept out to him through Kevin Hunt, and then the winger Harkin, and here goes O'Connor, and the left foot shot, and that's 1-0. But just 4 minutes later, Hoy's throw in, the little ball in from him to Garry Haylock, the superb control by Haylock, and the turn, and Wayne Russell had no chance. It's 1-1 at half time. Martin Murray, the Dundalk's manager, is with Michael Lester.
Yeah, George, well, Martin, what a cup final this is turning out to be, and you're right back in the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, disappointing goal from our point of view to give away, but you know, we've responded the way I hope we would, and I think it's there for us now. I think if we want it, I mean, I fancy us.
The atmosphere here at the last 5 minutes of this first half, it's almost like the end of the match. It's incredible.
Yeah, there's a great crowd here. It's a lovely day. It has all the makings of, you know, a classic. Let's hope it is, and let's hope we come out the right end of it.
Martin, you've had a goal aside, but generally the way the team are playing, are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy enough. We're competing. We're making it difficult for them because they are a good side, and you know, if we continue to do that in the second half, well, you know, fingers crossed. Hopefully, we come out the right end of it.
We look forward to that second half. Thank you for joining us.
Well, I think we're set for a great second half here at Tolka Park. We'll reflect on an enthralling first 45 minutes of this cup final after the break.
Velux roof windows, bringing light to life.
Fixodent Neutral, the new adhesive cream for a secure fit and neutral taste. Fixodent, life with more bite.
I have seen the prophecy.
Tomorrow we conquer.
If you face Memnon, you'll die.
I make my own destiny. The Scorpion King. I can't believe he did it. McAteer with a cross, and there's the goal!
Ireland took their place in the last 16.
Kinsella! Yes! It's goodbye Spain! Hello Argentina! Robbie Keane has put Ireland into the semi-final against England.
Heart to send England home.
I fell asleep amid the flowers.
An entire nation waits.
McAteer, still McAteer.
And McAteer has done it! Brazil 0, Ireland 1!
The Republic of Ireland have won the World Cup.
They said it was impossible, but nobody told Jason McAteer.
Carlsberg don't do dreams, but if we did, they would probably be the best dreams in the world.
Dave Chappelle here. I'm setting this bloke up on a blind date to show that right guard extreme sport works under the most extreme conditions. Ladies! You gotta get a number, dog. See? Extreme protection against odor and wetness. Love hurts. Fragrant. You guys are really hitting it off.
Right Guard Extreme Sport. Get extreme, get Right Guard.
Call us! Edwin will.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a super first half, the first half of the 2002 FAI Carlsberg Cup final. Bohemians fans studying his programme very closely. They are making all the noise, the Dundalk supporters, at half-time here at Tolka Park. And really, the atmosphere absolutely brilliant here. Paul and Brian. Paul, what did you make of that first half?
Well, possibly the last 10 minutes there I got very exciting. I think it would have been a little bit unjust if Dundalk had went in a goal down, because to be fair to them, they've made all the running. They've had a couple of good headers on goal, and they were caught with a bad goal, okay. Tony O'Connor done very well. It's probably, I think, Bohs, any time they've got it down and sort of knocked it around, they've looked better. There's a couple of times where they've gone long and Steve McGuinness has won it and Donald Brown. But if you look at the passage of play of the goal, there was a little move to a few triangles there, good pass, and Tony finished it well. But I still feel that Dundalk have that little bit of a threat for some reason with Martin Riley, particularly early on. Him and Garry Haylock had done well, and you know, I'm sure that they're delighted going in, particularly after conceding a goal and getting one straight back just before half time. Done really well.
Absolutely. Brian, what did you think of it?
Well, I thought Riley and Haylock have been very lively, whereas Colin Hawkins and Stephen Caffrey have been uncertain in comparison to performances we're used to from them. I felt Bohemians were starting to get a grip on the game when they scored, but Dundalk, as Paul said, have deserved the equaliser. They've had the more clear-cut chances and two smashing goals and a great game so far. I think the pitch is lively, the ball is bouncing. I don't think it's as good as everybody has said, but nonetheless we've had a very, very good game so far.
Well, the way it started, Paul, it looked as if Dundalk were the more likely to score. Riley had a very good chance, I think, just coming up to the Bohemians goal.
Yes, here's we see it here. They broke out to the ball is with Chris Lawless. He knocks it over, and there's Kieran Kavanagh. Now, if you watch, Kevin Hunt gets a bad touch, and Kieran Kavanagh comes inside. The ball ends up Martin Riley. He should have hit it early with his left foot. And I think, to be fair, Fergal Harkin had done well. He had come around and he cleared it, but it was a great chance for them. And then I think they went down and scored, but not too long after that.
I was just going to say that to Brian. What is it about Tony O'Connor and scoring in cup finals?
Well, I thought he was playing very well. Along with Haylock, in my opinion, they were the two best players. He got around and covered when he was needed in defence. He was cool. He has kept Chris Lawless quiet. But the goal was an excellent goal. He linked up really well. Got forward. We saw him scoring a goal in the cup final last year to win the match. To do it in two in a row was extraordinary. But he has had a knack as a midfield player, and he plays in the old days playing for me down the Pats. You see him here when he links up really well. Hunt plays a simple ball wide to Harkin here. Tony's looking for an attacking position. Kieran Kavanagh comes across to mark him, spins away from him, checks from his right to his left. Donald Brown doesn't quite get there quick enough, but a fantastic drive down low into corner. You see it here, there's not really an awful lot wrong when he receives it, but fantastic turn, goes inside and bang, take it out of that. For a defender, well, he's not really a defender, he's a midfielder converted to play right back. Brilliant finish. Maybe John Connolly could have got across a little bit quicker, but he's had a sound game, John, so far.
It looked as if that had changed the complexion of the whole game, Paul, with Dundalk seemed to have better chances and that sort of thing, and Bohemians, as George said on commentary, scored against the run of play. But Garry Haylock, the player you picked out before the start of the game, is the man to watch, scored an amazing goal.
Yes, I think, like as you said, it would have been unfair. The fact when you're an underdog and you've done as well as what Dundalk have done in the early parts of that game and continued on, to go and to concede a goal like that was dreadful. Now here you see Gary's goal. David Howie takes a throw in, receives it back, puts it in. Now watch here, just one touch, bang, and
I think Ryan Russell was on side when you see it coming back in, Paul, here. A lot of defenders in front of him, and I think it's actually Tony O'Connor blocks his view, and he has but a brilliant finish by Haylock. I think we both agreed himself and Martin Riley have been very, very lively and dangerous looking.
I mean, there you go, you can see it there. Just one touch now. I think Wayne, as Brian said, maybe felt it was on his right foot, but just a spin back, and that's, you know, his form is good at the moment, and as I said before the game, he's a confidence player, and his confidence is up playing with the dog. I've seen him against Bray a couple of weeks ago, and they're doing quite well, and himself and Martin, I feel, have been a threat. If he can get it and get it into Martin from behind, because I feel with Colin Hawkins and Stephen Caffrey, they're not as pacey Bohs at the back. I feel now they're probably well drilled, but sometimes you might, now there hasn't been too many offsides, but I just feel that they could be a threat.
OK, Paul, for the moment, thank you. We'll leave Tolka Park for the moment and just reflect on a famous win for Limerick City. The first leg, of course, of the Aircom League Cup final was played at Jackman Park yesterday. Limerick playing Derry City. Michael Lester can now tell us about a famous win for Limerick.
It's been a difficult season for Limerick, who are at the foot of the First Division, but they battled their way to the League Cup final and yesterday entertained a Derry team many thought had one hand on the cup. Indeed, Limerick dominated the early proceedings, but it was Derry who went in front 5 minutes before the break. Limerick's keeper Jimmy Fife saved superbly but was unable to hold the ball, and Kevin Deary followed up to give the Candy Stripes a hardly deserved lead. But the home side kept their composure and were back on level terms just before the break. A long ball out of defence by Owen Pole found Kieran Foley, and a super chip gave Russell Payne no chance, the effort helped in by the upright. However, Foley injured himself in scoring and he took no further part in the game. Limerick have a remarkable record in this year's League Cup. In all their previous ties, they beat Premier Division opposition, and the trend continued. As Limerick pressed forward, Brian Dondon was taken down in the 83rd minute and referee Alan Kelly pointed to the spot. Derek White stepped up to face Payne and calmly slotted home to give Limerick the advantage for the second leg at the Brandywell next Thursday, a venue at which Limerick has never won. Final score at Jackman Park, Limerick 2, Derry 1.
And the second leg of that Aircom League Cup final is at the Brandywell on Thursday, the 11th of April, and that is to look forward to, and an uphill task for Derry City, certainly. Limerick going into it with the advantage. There you go, we'll have more from Paul and Brian, and of course the second half of this enthralling FAI Carlsberg Cup final after the break.
Is this your bathroom in the morning? Now you can add another. In a loft conversion or basement. An ensuite shower room or a downstairs cloakroom with Saniflow pumping systems. Low call 1850 23 24 25.
Last Thursday, Jane came in and said, "I'm stressed." "Calm down," I said. "How can I? This dry scalp's itchy, sensitive, tight, and dreading flakes." I said you need Head & Shoulders soothing shampoo for dry scalp. Unlike ordinary conditioners and hot oil treatments, it's specifically designed to stop dry scalp and even dandruff. 2 weeks later, she said, all is calm.
Calms your scalp, controls dandruff. Head & Shoulders soothing for dry scalp. Wear your hair with pride.
I didn't think Flora Proactive was going to work, and when it did, I was actually amazed.
After using Flora Proactive, my cholesterol came down and I was well impressed.
Clinical trials prove that no spread reduces LDL cholesterol more than Flora Proactive.
I had no idea it was going to work as dramatically as it did.
Initially, I thought, no way.
I love it to bits, I really do.
It's good for me, and that's the important thing.
I can't believe it, my cholesterol's come right down.
Yeah, really chuffed.
Flora Proactive can dramatically cut cholesterol.
Tell everybody!
This is Pilkington Active, the world's first self-cleaning glass. Using natural light and rainwater, it cleans itself, day in, day out, whatever the weather. And while it makes for a boring commercial, it's the most exciting thing to happen in glass for years. Pilkington Active, self-cleaning glass. For details, call 00800 1826 1826.
For men, every morning is the same routine. The desperate search for a way to relieve the pain after shaving. There is a better way to soothe your skin. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm is an advanced blend of moisturizers and vitamins that soothe and actually improve your skin. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm, for men who dare to care.
Welcome back to Tolka Park. Second half about to get underway. Let's join Michael Lester with Stephen Kenny.
Yeah, Stephen, well, you're used to these cup final locations, and this second half is going to be some match, you think?
Yeah, well, we can play a little bit better, I feel. I'm looking for an improvement on our first half performance. A bit more patient in possession and commit more bodies forward from midfield, I feel. We need to do that.
Mind you, you were in charge of that first half for about 5 minutes anyway when you got the goal.
Yeah, we had some good passes to play, and so did Dundalk, in fairness. So it's set up now for a good second half.
What have you been saying to the players at half-time? As you said, Dundalk have had a lot of the possession around the middle of the field. What have you been telling the players?
Well, patience. We've got to be patient in possession and work the openings. As it gets hotter now and players will get tired, we need to keep possession more, and we need to defend our set pieces a bit better as well than we have been doing.
We look forward to it.
Thank you.
Okay, Michael, the second half just about to start. Let's go straight back to Owen and George.
Thank you very much. Second half full of promise. Both teams to begin it with the same personnel they began the match with. And Stephen Kenny has just been talking to us, about to leave the pitch and take his place in the Bohemians dugout. Martin Murray is opposite number. The man who started the goal scoring, Tony O'Connor. And then it was an equaliser within just 4 minutes from this man, Garry Haylock. A man who was introduced to underage football in England by our distinguished colleague here, Mr. Owen Hand.
Yes, and way back, whatever, 10, 11, 12 years ago, he was an excellent goal scorer then.
From Bradford, you were at Huddersfield at the time, which is not a million miles away.
That's true, yeah. Gary came across to Shelbourne, actually. We sent him across to toughen him up, and he met somebody and never went back.
There's a bit of a delay here. We have a problem with the net. Yes, at the Ballybock end of the ground. And the gaffer tape is being applied by the goalkeeper, Wayne Russell. I'm sure, but maybe a step ladder.
Wouldn't it be interesting if he pulled a muscle in his arm doing that?
Yes. Eddie Cox, the FAI's marketing boss, is there as well. Obviously, something went wrong during the interval, but this just shows you how meticulous things are. Nets must be checked. Start of each half, and obviously something has come adrift there. And Wayne Russell has not been able to effect the repair. great developments. The crowd is good humoured, and the runner's even so far. They're happy enough in the sunshine. Well, I can tell you that the stepladder has been produced, and so we should have this problem solved very shortly, but it does give us the opportunity to hear the views of Paul and Brian with Dara.
There's the stepladder going down. We're going to have a race between Paul and Brian to see who can get down there first and help the guy with the stepladder. Paul, how do you see this second half going?
Well, I do feel what Stephen has said. As I said, when you play Bohs, their strong point is their possession and their movement and their passing. I didn't feel they've done that a lot in this half. Now, their fitness probably in the second half, normally in a lot of the games I've seen them and played against them this season, they've come good in the second half. They need to hold on to the ball, as he says, and try and work the openings. Now, it's easier said than done because Dundalk have done well. Kieran Kavanagh and John Flanagan have battled well in midfield. But if you believe in a way of playing,
Brian?
Well, I think the bandage tape is out to fix the net there. It's usually for fixing old players' knees. I would think the Bohs will continue to take the game to Dundalk. Dundalk have scrapped well. They've stopped them in the middle of the field. Kevin Hunt hasn't been allowed to dictate the play, but I think the Bohs will come into it more in the second half. Certainly Dundalk's morale must be very high, and Martin Murray has to be pleased to how a team has played. It depends on whether Martin Riley and Haylock can continue to keep going. The rest of the team can keep their concentration, particularly Stephen McGuinness doesn't give away possession so easy. He's been canting it at the touch too easy.
Well done, boys. We're finally ready to go back to Owen and George.
Thank you very much. Yes, and it wasn't black gaffer tape either. Nice and discreet, the white tape that Shelbourne Football Club have produced, the ground staff, and we're ready for the start now of the second half. Bohemians playing from right to left. Just to repeat, no half-time substitutions. Going from John White. Hunt. Riley under pressure. Up to the way to David Kroll. Towards Haylock. Firmly headed back by Hawkins. Lovely skill here by Lawless. And somehow or another, it's squirted out of there and off the Dundalk man, Riley, and behind for a goal kick.
That was a very positive run by Chris Lawless there to create that danger. A lovely bit of skill there. He just drives on in there and just pokes into the penalty area. That actually, it could have easily ricocheted in. Martin Riley, a bit disappointed he didn't get a corner kick there.
The game will resume with a goal kick to Bohemians. Outdone by Morrison. A push by Brown. Brown protesting a little too much. Sensibly, the referee, mindful of the occasion that it is, and that, he was going to be let off with that, a show of petulance, but now he's got involved with Glenn Crowe. So the referee is going to have a word.
Say they shall not throw the toys out of the cot.
Free kick from Kevin Hunt. And the pushing is against Colin Hawkins. The free kick this time is to Dundalk. Well, that's not where the offence took place. It was way inside the penalty area.
It's interesting listening to Stephen Kenny's comments about midfielders getting forward there, and I think that's a point well made, because the front two of Bohemians haven't been really seen as much as we would like to, or Bohemians would like to, and of course there's an awful lot of that down to the fact that the service hasn't been coming, as is the usual with Bohemians.
On there by Hoy. Haylock. White. That was Kavanagh going in there. Kavanagh's running back for Dundalk. Boy to take on Webb. Just unable to prevent it going out for the goal kick. Nicely now for Kavanagh. On towards Riley. Caffrey taking no chances, is put it behind.
Very important interception there. The lovely ball that was dinked in by Kavanagh.
It'll be Kavanagh who'll take the corner. Brown has gone forward. And McGuinness there too. Poised to pounce when Russell prepares to defend. McGuinness, it's there. Garry Haylock again. 4 minutes of the second half gone, and once again under aerial threat, Bohemians' defence proves brittle. We saw it in the first half when Dundalk had a few free headers. Stephen McGuinness had a free header again from this corner. And though it was defended, Garry Haylock was there, true goal scorer's instincts, to pounce and gets his second goal in this FAI Cup final, and Dundalk lead.
That was a great header by Stephen McGuinness there. He makes the run, he loses Stephen Caffrey to power that header towards the goal there, gets it down there. He's actually going for the goal himself, but you know, the goal scorer supreme again, Garry Haylock, as he did in the semi-final up in Dundalk there, you know, right where it matters to finish it off.
And right where it matters in terms of the goals that he scored, because they really needed him against the highly fancied Shamrock Rovers that night, and he delivered twice, and now he's done it again.
Well, the surprising thing actually is that Bohemians have been so lax in defending the set pieces, because they're normally pretty strong at that, and you know, Dundalk in the first half did cause a lot of problems. They got a few free headers, they didn't get the power on them at times, but you know, it was looking ominous if they didn't rectify that.
Bohemians wanted more movement from the midfielders, but now they've got a different kind of a problem. But the last time the lead was taken, it lasted only 4 minutes. We'll see if Bohemians can do what Dundalk did.
You know, Bohemians have got a lot of character on their side. I mean, they showed that against Derry, you know, against the Strongmen, the way they came back, and it was a very difficult game for them to win. There's no shortage of character in this Bohemian side.
The line from Webb. And the header at the near post was by Crow, but again he was closely marshalled by McGuinness, and there was no problem for John Connolly in the Dundalk goal. Meanwhile, Caffrey has been penalised. Pushed Martin Riley. David Crawley's come forward to mastermind operations. This won't be the time to remind Bohemians that they haven't beaten Dundalk in 3 attempts this season. They've got to get themselves back into this cup final before they can think about beating them again. Crawley there. Webb got his head in the way. So much at stake in this cup final. Bohemians, who finished 4th place in the Premier Division table, which was good after the rocky season that they'd had and the difficulties Pete Mann had. Stephen Kenny came in at the tail end of the year, turned things around, stabilised things, but they didn't get into the European places at the top of the table, and this represents their route into Europe next season. And if they don't manage that, well, they'll be under severe financial pressure given the full-time status that they enjoy. And the only other relegated team to feature in a cup final was Bray 3 years ago. It took them 3 attempts, but eventually they won the cup. Collision there behind the referee. Hawkins and Lawless are on the deck, and the ball is put out of play to enable attention to come on for the pair of them.
Well, it was a very sporting gesture by Donald Brown there, because Garry Haylock was actually totally free. If he'd have played it, played on, but he saw the two players down there. I mean, it was an excellent opportunity for Dundalk to take advantage. So, a great sporting gesture by Donald Brown.
Chris Lawless is the youngest on the pitch. He's 20 years of age. Got the vote for this match because James Kelly was injured. Colin Hawkins feeling the pain as well. Pat's man went to England with Doncaster, then came back to Dublin with Bohemians.
I wonder what would be in Stephen Kenny's mind about, changes and all that. I just feel perhaps, that, Stephen Caffrey's normally alongside Kevin Hunt, and they haven't been operating as efficiently. I just, that Stephen Caffrey does give a little bit more, gets more room for Kevin Hunt by being perhaps, he tackles a lot more, and he gets the space for Kevin Hunt to do his, his clever, creative play. And I think they're lacking a little bit of that steel in midfield in this game. So perhaps there might be changes made that way.
And the two injured parties sent back into the fray. And the game will restart with a goal kick to Dundalk. Riley winning. Onto it went Hoy. But Bohemians able to get it back. It's Rutherford. Hoy tracking back. White thumping it forward towards Riley. The whistle is sounded for offside. Riley guilty of a miss there in the first half, but relieved, I'm sure, now that the scoreboard favours Dundalk, despite the fact that he wasn't able to convert that earlier chance.
Yeah, I do feel, if you're operating with a 4-4-2 and the wide players, that's Fergal Harkin and Mark Rutherford, are not in the game, you've got to question, you've got to find the reasons why. And I think that's very much in Stephen Kenny's, and of course, consequently, then you have your strikers short of service.
Haylock, he was just offside. Bohs had pushed up. Riley did got the touch, but Haylock was just a little too far forward. Lonely man now. He's the man who's got to make the decisions. Rutherford under pressure from Hoy. Dundalk to bring it clear. Browan. Now it's Hunt under pressure from Flanagan. Came off Riley. Forward by O'Connor. That worked out well for Dundalk. Crawley. Haylock, the little header on. Riley chases, tidied up by Hawkins.
I think there was a good example there when that ball was played up to Trevor Malloy there. There's two Dundalk shirts around him, and he's asking an awful lot. Mind you, here he goes now.
Malloy once again. Lawless with him. Crawley's there too. Slid through here. Fergal Harkin. Cross was too close to John Connolly.
That's much better play from a Bohemians point of view. That's the patience and the build-up that Stephen Kelly remarked on, and they haven't done much of that. They've got to get skillful players like Fergal Harkin and Mark Rutherford the far side, get them on the ball. get them attacking the Dundalk back four. We haven't seen enough of that. Well, having said all that, it's Dundalk are going to sit back and say, hey, listen, we're not going to be letting anybody have easy runs against them. They're going to be tracking. They're going to be working very, very hard to hold on to this lead.
Throw in from Webb. Hawkins trying to direct it back to Russell. O'Connor came to solve the problem. Was that a back pass? Well, I don't think so. I think correct interpretation would have been an interception by Tony O'Connor after the misplaced header by Colin Hawkins. Really must credit Dundalk for the work ethic that they've brought to bear this afternoon. They've worked for each other. They've given Bohemians nothing. They've scrapped, and they've got themselves into a 2-1 lead. And they've tactically, Martin Murray has got it right. They've snuffed out Kevin Hunt. He's not the dominant force in the middle of the park. And they've shackled Glenn Crowe, the league's top scorer.
Yes, the Bohemians have been, I mean, they've been playing brilliant football the last second half of the season. Really creative football, and being patient has been, I think, a hallmark of their play. But we're not seeing that today.
We should probably remind ourselves that apart from a defeat to St. Patrick's Athletic, the penultimate league match, Dundalk were in great form in the latter stage of the season. That defeat was the only defeat in 11 matches in the rundown, but their good form came too late to save their status. Free kick has been given to Mark Rutherford. Rutherford away to lie handy for the striking duties that might come his way. Simon Webb will take the free kick. But when pushing in the box, over enthusiasm from Colin Hawkins. David Crowley limps away, and Dundalk have a free kick.
Again, I think it's a good example of, a good position wasted there. The free kick there, Simon Webb, just hanging it up, no real venom on it. I think that they're much better if they're whipped in, and particularly, say, a right-footed player who causes real danger. There was never any real danger threatening from that one.
Riley helping it on towards Flanagan. Intercepted by O'Connor. Now Fergal Harkin. Interception by Kavanagh. Rowan committed. Dundalk got away with it. Flanagan helping it on. Nicely played by Davy Morrison. Sizing up the options. There are two, Malloy and Crowe. Morrison shooting himself, and Connolly getting right behind it. Knew where the target was, all right. The two strikers were waiting in case Connolly would spill.
Yeah, he picked that up in midfield, and a little bit of magic himself. He created the chance for himself.
Back again by Brohan. Hawkins getting the better of Riley, but now chance for Lawless. And he's passed the challenge of O'Connor. Still Lawless trying to find a way through to Haylock, but Hawkins did the needful. Flanagan with O'Connor. Glenn Crowe. Morrison. Swept in by Webb. Cleared away by Brohan. Riley sending it towards Flanagan. Meanwhile, there's a problem. Chris Lawless down, and Wayne Russell puts the ball out of play.
Well, that last attack that Dundalk had, and Chris Lawless, he did very well out that side there. I thought he hit it too early. He might have just gone on, and perhaps the reason he didn't hit it early was he shipped a knock. as he was going past maybe Tony O'Connor.
It's going well for Mark Murray now. Approaching the midpoint of the second half. Is Stephen Kenny about to change it? The pace of a worried man. Meanwhile, the Dundalk fans sing. Wouldn't you if your team was 2-1 up? Against the odds. Left knee acceptably supple.
Yeah, Stephen Kenny, he'd be thinking deeply about what way is he going to approach this if it stays as it is. I mean, is he going to bring on Tony Fowlan? Is he going to bring in Dave Hill and push Stephen Caffrey into midfield? Is he going to bring Gary O'Neill in to liven up the front line? All those things will be going on in his mind now. He's also got Mark Dempsey, of course.
Hawkins. So O'Connor. And Hunt getting in there. Crowley sending it forward again. It's O'Connor once more. Picked out Crow. On from Malloy. Rutherford's in the centre forward spot. Morrison there too. Here's Kevin Malloy. Rutherford. Oh. Close call. Well, they really put pressure on there.
Well, it was one of the few times that Trevor Malloy got into a very dangerous position there, and he didn't half do well.
Riley saw the goalkeeper off his line, went for the effort, but got a little too far wide of the mark.
Great skill by Trevor Malloy there. You know, he's very good in these positions. He just pushes back there, and look at all the white shirts that are around there. Mark Rutherford just can't get it. It was a good right foot he needed there to swing on it. You know, when we're talking about Bohemian substitutes, how could we leave out Paul Byrne? And that has got to be an option for Stephen Kenny, because he's come on a few times, and he's changed the whole course of play with some excellent free kicks.
He's yet to play in the FAI Cup this season. Paul Byrne, that is. It would be a bold move on the part of the Bohs manager. That's a foul by Hawkins. Free kick to Dundalk. That edge of frustration beginning to manifest itself in Bohemians' play. Haylock was the player foul. It's Paul Byrne, the shaven head on the bench. Happy-go-lucky chappy. Something of the Irish Paul Gascoigne about him, but the stage he's at in his career, no longer able to hold down a regular starting place, but still very much a part of the squad. Simon Webb for Mark Rutherford.
The same Paul Byrne, I've seen him come on and score some spectacular goals. He is a player for a big occasion.
And in Irish soccer, they don't come any bigger than this. The blue ribbon event. There goes Hunt. Stopped by Brohan. Haylock. Hawkins playing it wide for Webb. McGuinness underneath it. And then Kavanagh forward. But you get a slight impression that Dundalk are wilting a little bit. They're not playing with the composure that they had. Crawley stopping Fergal Hargan in his tracks. But the ball has gone out. There was no foul. And we have a goal kick and some news from Michael Lester on the touchline.
Yeah, just speculating about substitutions on the Bohs side. No sign of any action on the bench so far. Stephen Kenny hasn't looked at any of his subs so far and asked him to tog out and get ready. But it is interesting, in the first half he was very quiet, just pacing up and down. He's doing a lot of shouting now in the second half, particularly Colin Hawkins, asking him to drive his players on.
Well, Bohs are behind, but I just have the suspicion that Dundalk are going through a bit of a dip here. They haven't been finding their men with the precise passing that they manifested earlier on. And maybe there's an opportunity for Bohemians to get back into this, and maybe that's what Stephen Kenny is sensing. Browan cutting it out. Crawley now. Aiming for Haylock, who's significantly all alone up there. Tidying up.
I do think, George, you know, sort of thinking about that it's a typical example of, say, a team, say, that are the underdogs. They come and they play very well. They play excellently. They deserve to be in front. And then they will just, I mean, it's a question of a bit of both, if you like. Bohemians just stepping up the pace and them just saying, OK, come on, let's see how good you are, if you're going to be inventive, or are you going to be, say, trying to get balls in a bit early. And you know, there's no real evidence that Bohemians are sort of dominating this game. I just feel that, you know, Dundalk could hit them on a break, and it's, you know, quite capable of killing the game off if Bohemians go about it the wrong way.
Simon Webb. We're at the midpoint of the second half. We just passed it, in fact. Dundalk leading by 2-1. It's Webb once more. Connolly, safe pair of hands.
Again, another example of, you know, players in positions and, you know, not actually trying to work it into a better position, taking the easy option, swinging it in, and, you know, the goalkeeper will deal with that all day long. A good goalkeeper like John Connolly.
Simon Webb with the throw. And another throw to the Bohemians. The game is tending to be played a little more in the left-hand half through this phase. It's a perilous time for Dundalk. And what a free kick, which will lift the siege. Dave Hill nearest to us. Gary O'Neill also there.
You can be sure that Dundalk will have a good opportunity before this game is out, but I don't necessarily think that at the moment they're creating much. Okay, they are pushing forward as you would expect, chasing the game.
Hunt. And the challenge has left two players injured, John White and Trevor Malloy, and Bohs attack continues. And Rutherford has forced the corner off Stephen McGuinness. There's going to be a change for Bohemians. It's Dave Hill who's going to be sent on. Hill, veteran defender, about to leave the club to go and manage Cove Ramblers. There's the corner. And gathered in by goalkeeper Connolly. Well, the news is that it's going to be Hill for Morrison, which presumably means that Caffrey is going to relinquish his posting beside Colin Hawkins in central defence. But a great ball by Haylock sends Lawless away. Lawless beautifully past Harkin. Lawless just lost his balance at the crucial moment.
A lovely bit of skill by Chris Lawless there. The ball just wouldn't sit up for him properly after he hooked it over.
Browan's header away, but it's gone straight to O'Connor. Harkin going outside him. O'Connor from Malloy. Shouts for a handball. Here's Hunt. Was always rising as he caught it, and he just directed it too high.
Yeah, you see as this comes in, it just ricochets into the head back to him there. But he just can't keep it down. You know, he's got into a great position, as he will. Kevin Hunt, he'll keep going. The lovely bit of skill here by Chris Lawless there. Just the ball won't come down. He has to just try to get his knee right over it. He digs it into the ground. Can't get much power on it.
Well, Dave Hill comes on. Dave Morrison, who came on as a substitute last year, 24 hours after getting married, goes off.
Well, we were talking about that option, and I think it's a wise one for Stephen Kenny. I mean, Stephen Caffrey going into the midfield there to give a little bit of steel in there, try and get a bit of better service into the front and the wide players.
Now Dundalk have made a change. They've brought on Cormac McArdle, 19-year-old local, and he's gone in place of Chris Lawless, who took a few knocks the way through. So a substitution apiece now, and And Hill has gone to centre half, and Hawkins is there too, and Caffrey is in the centre of midfield. And for Dundalk, McArdle will simply go on to the left-hand side. It's on by Malloy. Caffrey forward for Malloy. Crawley certainly not taking any prisoners in terms of defending his line. 9-6 away for Bohemians. Haylock. Oh, and there's a pull there by Webb on Riley, and that should have been a free kick. Well, the card is coming out for Simon Webb. Riley was on his way through, and he is off. Last man. Riley was on his way, and Simon Webb is sent off.
There was a lovely counter-attack by Dundalk there. It was cabinet to Haylock, and Haylock just sent a lovely ball to get Martin Riley through. And, you know, Simon Webb just tugged at Martin Riley, and the referee looked as if he hadn't spotted it. It was kind of a delayed action, if you like, and then the red came out. Okay, he was the last man. You see here, you see Simon Webb, he's in there, the pull is there. Okay, you had Colin Hawkins covering there, but say referee Paul McKeown, he took a couple of seconds just to decide, and you know, it's one of those decisions that perhaps someone say it's harsh, and where was he, the last man?
Well, he was on his way through all right, and Simon Webb becomes the first since Shelbourne's goalkeeper Alan Goff, similar circumstances back in 1996, to be sent off in an FAI Cup final. And Donald Browan comes to hit the free kick straight into the midriff of Wayne Russell. Well, we've already seen from Paul McKeown, the referee, that he's prepared to referee in the best possible spirit and let the game flow, but when that happened and it was so blatant, he really had no choice but to send the man off.
You know, we were talking about angles and all that. It looked like Colin Hawkins perhaps might have been around to maybe put a bit of pressure on Martin Riley. If he was the last man, then I think, okay, the law says he must go. If he's not, then it's harsh.
Well, it makes it very, very difficult for Bohemians now. Lost their left back, which presumably means a more defensive orientation for Mark Rutherford to track the runner up the right. Well, Dave Hill has played left back in his time, but that would leave them with just a back three. But maybe if it's a cup final and you're chasing the game, you go with a back three. And you play 3-4-2.
Well, it's you know, if the situation is reversed and they're leading the game 2-1, then you say, okay, you put back somebody from midfield or front.
Well, let's have another look. We'll see if Bohs were hard done by. Well, we will in a moment as the game goes on. Rutherford, and he gives away the free kick. Well, he's lost the player. It's the fifth to be sent off in an FAI Cup final. Away went Riley. There's the pull. Well, Hawkins was alongside, so it's a moot point.
I think if the measuring tape was out, I think that Hawkins was perhaps closer to the goal.
But there's no doubt about the foul that was committed. The arm came out, Riley was pulled back. Hill taking the free kick. Malloy. And another free kick, this time to Bohemians. Foul committed by David Hoy. Well, 13 minutes to run in a cup final that's had just about everything. 3 very good goals, a sending off, and a gutsy performance from the underdogs, the relegated team. The referees having words, pushing and shoving going on in the penalty area. So when it resumes, it will be with the free kick for Bohemians.
Well, there's so much at stake here. You can imagine that people are juggling for positions. There's going to be little things happening in there. The referee's very vigilant.
Oh, that was a close call indeed. They set up for a shot from Dave Hill, but he never quite got to them. Connolly there, taken cleanly again. He's had a fine game. Under pressure. Cup winner with Bohemians 10 years ago.
Tony O'Connor just whips over a ball. There's more a hopeful ball, just getting it in there. But the goalkeeper, an excellent catch, comes in amongst the bodies and just takes it cleanly.
Gulliver then was fouled. He hasn't been had the starring role that he might have been expected to have, Mark Rutherford. It's Malloy, it's come for Crow. Malloy going in again. Goalkeeper did brilliantly, but it's not away yet. Oh, Trevor Malloy has put it over the bar. For me, the goalkeeper did brilliantly in there to just disrupt the possession for Bohemians. But there was a close call.
Yeah, but so does Donald Browan, does very well here. John Connolly comes out there. But look, you see that tackle there? Donald Browan, brilliant. That was a certain goal, except for that block by Browan.
Well, Paul Byrne is going to come on for Bohemians to make his seasonal debut in the FAI Cup. And he's going to replace Fergal Harkin. So the Flair player comes on with 11 minutes to go.
We see at any opportunity at all in front of goal, you'll see Paul Byrne. He's got a tremendous right foot on him.
He may not be as swift as once he was, but he's certainly got all the skills. The player was so skillful. A career that spent partly up north. Byrne. A little bit of unpleasantness creeping in here. As edginess as Bohs sense it slipping away.
Yeah, I think that sort of thing is inevitable. There's a frustration there. There's a dogged defence. Put the two together.
Byrne once of Arsenal and Oxford United and Glasgow Celtic among others. But now the Bohemians are taking the free kick. In again by Hunt. The offside flag has gone up.
This is good defence by Dundalk. They get this ball half cleared. Kevin Hunt just heads it back in, and the really disciplined defence to step up, and experienced defence too. But they step up and they leave the Bohemians players offside. They stay in, there's problems.
A little under 10 minutes to go in a really well organised performance by Dundalk. They fought for each other. They went through the little crisis. Seems they survived it, and here's Haylock off at chase again. He's lost his footing on the way through there with O'Connor.
Yeah, there is you talk about it, and
he lost his boot.
A disappointing Bohemians performance so far in this game, there's no doubt about that. But for that, you've got to examine the reasons why. And of course, there's 11 good reasons why, all in white.
On for Caffrey. All they could do is prevent it running with a goal kick, but it's gone for the throat of the goal. You know where he wants it. On the head of David Hoy. And that's almost where it went. The throw to Shelburne. Shelburne, Bohemians. Been carried away by the venue. Still only one goal in it, and anything can happen. Connolly's there, he didn't get that cleanly. Paul Byrne! Oh, that could have gone anywhere.
Well, that man Paul Byrne, as I said, the cross comes up from Mark Rutherford. It's a good cross change. Glenn Crowe challenges there, but Donald Brown gets the head on it, but he just tries to keep it down. Difficult technique. You know, the longer this game goes on, you just wonder also about Glenn Crowe. I've yet to watch Glenn Crowe not have a goal-scoring opportunity. So you just wonder, is there just one? Because he's been held so well in this game. You just wonder, is there a chance going to fall to him yet?
Well, the player who's been holding him so well is, of course, the former Bohemians Cup winner, Donald Brown. Now, something of a veteran, although he's yet to turn 30. But it's been a really good performance by the Dundalk defence. And now here are Dundalk with Riley and Haylock. And a chance for Garry Haylock to get a hat-trick. And O'Connor's taken it off his toe. One back by the young man Cormac McArdle. And then a little bit of stuff there involving McArdle and Byrne. But Byrne has got the free kick. But suddenly Bohemians were exposed. Lack of defensive cover. And Dundalk, well, credit Tony O'Connor for preventing Garry Haylock getting through. Rutherford's cross. Crawley going to retrieve. McArdle couldn't bring it under control. Now it's Hawkins joining the attack. Back for Byrne. On for Hunt. Once more for Hawkins to cross. But that had the look of a centre-half's cross about it, didn't it?
I see the Dundalk break here. You know, Garry Haylock there. He just wants to take it inside, and Tony O'Connor does very well there. Takes him out. Paul Byrne has done well to get back as well. But that's always likely to happen against 10 men.
Forward by McGuinness. Flanagan chasing. Gathered in by Russell. Byrne. About to join the action for Bohemians. Man who's going to make way, Trevor Malloy. His last action for Bohemians. He's due to go to Carlisle United, though we understand the papers haven't been signed, but that's the plan. Roddy Collins' dismissal might change that, but at the moment it does look as though that is the last involvement of Trevor Malloy in a Bohemians shirt, and he's replaced by Gary O'Neill. 20-year-old. That's Bohemians' last throw of the dice, their third substitution. And he's got 5 minutes to attempt to alter the course of this game, Gary O'Neill. That was Dave Hill. Paul Byrne under pressure from McArdle. Kavanagh getting in there. Played wide but too firmly for Glenn Crowe. It's Gary O'Neill. And Dundalk are making another change. Cormac Malone, another local youngster, coming on in place of Garry Haylock. So there's to be no hat-trick for Haylock today, but what a fabulous performance. 2 goals. Player who scored in cup finals in both North and South. Garry Haylock, he won the cup with Linfield. He's hoping he's about to win the cup with Dundalk. Replaced by Cormac Malone. do beg your pardon, that was the player who sent off. Now Riley. And I think the keeper just got a touch on that. The referee says goal kick.
Martin Riley looking to finish it off here. He doesn't really get a hold of the shot. He tries to just place it at that far post, but it's just lacking in direction and power.
So Connor. So McGuinness stood firm. Paul Byrne. On goes Hill. Hunt has made the run. Byrne. And Hill, the angle slightly wrong there. Garry O'Neill trying to force it in. McGuinness just about got it away in time, but it's only as far as Hill. It's back to the wall stuff from Dundalk now. Less than 2 minutes to go of normal time. Rutherford furious with the pass, but throw into Dundalk is the outcome.
Well, Donald Brown there, what an outstanding game he's had, along with his partner in defence, Stephen McGuinness. And we tried to select him out of the match. It could go to Donald Brown, it could go to Stephen McGuinness, but it has to go to the goal scorer, Garry Haylock. He's been absolutely brilliant. You can't do any more than score 2 goals for your side in a cup final, apart from the other play that he's given. So my man of the match has got to be Garry Haylock.
I don't think there'll be too many, certainly wearing Dundalk favours today, who would dispute the choice. 2 goals he got. And we've got a football to take home with us. In the final minute. O'Neill. Salute for Garry Haylock of the ground. He once graced in the red of Shelbourne. And a cup winner with Shelbourne back in 1993 when they beat Dundalk. And now it looks like Garry Haylock could be on the winning side here in the colours of Dundalk.
He certainly has he's made some career for himself in Ireland. Won how many cups, how many leagues, north and south.
With an extra 4 minutes to go. The minutes that Paul McKeown is adding on. Still time for Bohemians. But when you think back at the course of this game and how Bohemians' lead goal in the 40th minute came against the run of play, and how Dundalk battled back and how they've stayed organised and kept their shape and battled all the way, you'd have to say Dundalk deserve to win this cup, and that if they don't win it this time for the asking, it may well be because they let it slip rather than anything that Bohemians might do. Garry O'Neill had the opportunity. Stephen McGuinness injured himself in blocking his shot. And attention will have to come on for the centre half.
Yeah, we'll see a block here from Stephen McGuinness. Again, it's such a, what it means to these players. See the block here, it comes, it ricochets here, but watch McGuinness get across to O'Neill there, throws himself at it and gets that to take the sting out of the shot so as Connolly can get down.
But these are testing moments for Dundalk, of course, because they've concentrated all the way through. They've had a fabulous run, as we were saying, at the end of the season, just not enough to keep them in the Premier. It might have worked for them had they really not been faced with the reduction in the size of the Premier for next season.
Well, there I said, the talk before building up to this is about Martin Murray's position. I mean, surely this cements his position, because he's done an excellent job. I've watched Dundalk earlier in the season. Well, they were disappointed. There were certain problems going on there, but Garry Haylock, James Kelly come in. Martin Murray, his managerial, his strengths have been shown brilliantly in this game. And for the whole second half of the season. But I think the Dundalk directors, who am I to say, but they couldn't get a better manager.
Well, 11 games the latter part of the season, only 1 defeat, but the form that came to them then, not enough to keep them in the Premier, but it's entirely within the bounds of possibility that form would carry them to a cup triumph, and that is what looks likely to happen now. Stephen McGuinness being borne away to be replaced by Aaron Callaghan. Dundalk's final substitution. 35-year-old Dubliner. Spells in England with Stoke and Crewe and Preston. Played with Shelbourne as well, and then with Martin Murray at Crusaders. So the substitution is not going to take place because McGuinness wants to end the game on the pitch. Well, there he's back. So McGuinness is not substituted. And he's moving pretty freely for a man who was stretchered off only moments ago. Glenn Crowe. Now Paul Byrne. Decent shot. Connolly prepared to watch it go over the crossbar. But he was in position to deal with it had it been any lower.
Yeah, but hardly any backlift there, Paul Byrne. You get some pace on this, you know, it just doesn't dip enough. Bohemians, it has been a disappointing performance, there's no doubt. I mean, so many of the players have played below par. Like we say, give credit to Dundalk. But I mean, having said that as well, you've got to, the likes of Kevin Hunt, Kieran Kavanagh stayed fairly close to him all through the game. But he'd be very disappointed in his own performance. Losing, I suppose, Stephen Caffrey moving into the back of the defence, perhaps was a mistake. Stephen Kenny, I think he's a very honest man. He'll say that perhaps that wasn't the right. But who are you to know? It's all hindsight now. This moment, I think we give great credit to Dundalk.
Martin Murray worked out his tactics. His players stuck to their tasks. And they fought back from a 1-0 deficit to put themselves in front. We've played those 4 minutes. There's the final whistle. And Dundalk have won the FAI Cup for the 9th time. Not since 1988 has this been experienced by the folk from North County Louth. But that's a famous, famous victory for Dundalk. Having seen off the challenge of Bohemians, third-time finalists, but winners only last year. And Martin Murray, an FAI Cup winner himself, with home farm back in the 70s, now wins the FAI Carlsberg Cup for Dundalk. And they become the first team since Bray, indeed the only team apart from Bray, to lose their top-flight status and win the FAI Cup in the same season. And maybe they can take solace from that, for Bray built on that reverse of relegation. They're back in the Premier and firmly rooted there, and maybe that's what's going to happen to Dundalk, because they showed today, and they showed in the course of the end of the season, a dozen matches with only one defeat, and it culminates in victory for David Crawley's team in the big match, the one that matters most of all in the season, the FAI Cup final. Crawley's brother Willie won the cup with Dundalk back in 1981, and now in 2002 David Crawley has led Dundalk to a victory that on the day is thoroughly merited. Tony O'Connor scored Bohemians' goal 2 years in a row. He scored for them. Last year it was the winner. Today it turned out to be the consolation.
And I don't think that anybody can say also that the sending off has got anything to do with this result. Now, I don't think there's any bearing at all. I think that's great that that's the case. It's a well-deserved victory for Dundalk with no strings attached.
Garry Haylock, the man of the match, live on RTE radio. The Dundalk players saluting their fans. And I have to say that there's been great support in the latter part of the season in Dundalk. It's a much more locally based team than had been the case over the years. And maybe, despite the disappointment of relegation, this could be the springboard that revives Dundalk and leads them back to the glory days of old. This was the winning goal. McGuinness won the header and Haylock finished it off. Bohs, shown to be brittle in central defence in the first half, paid the price in the second. And Garry Haylock, second goal, cementing his position as the FAI Carlsberg Cup final man of the match.
Yes, and Garry Haylock, how much he deserves this. You know, he's what is he now? He's 31, I think, Garry. And since he came to Dundalk, actually that was probably the turning point for them. What a great decision was by Martin Murray to bring him there. And, the goals he got in the semi-final, And the 2 goals here, but I mean, that first goal was absolutely brilliant. There was pure class with that goal. The second one was a poacher's one. The first, brilliance.
In fact, this cup final did have so much to commend it. It was played with pace and passion. It was exciting. It had goals. It even had a sending off. Stephen McGuinness, what a part he played at the back alongside Donald Browan. And what vindication too, Donald Browan, Bohemians right back for many years, but then moving on to Dundalk, a step backwards it was felt in a career, very distinguished career, but proving that there's still trophies to be won even when it appears that you've stepped back from the very pinnacle.
A little word for Kieran Kavanagh too, I think, George. I mean, he was a Trojan there. What work he did. I mean, to stop Kevin Hunt from playing is no mean task, and great credit to Kieran Kavanagh.
David Crowley about to lead his Dundalk team. They're the second most distinguished record in the FAI Cup. Shamrock Rovers have won it 24 times, not since 87. Dundalk next 8 times before today, but not since 88. Well, now they've won it today. 2002 is Dundalk's year, and Michael Lester has 2 of Dundalk's heroes. Their manager Martin Murray and their centre half Donald Browan.
Yeah, thanks George. Donald Browan, this must be an absolutely wonderful feeling today.
Yeah, we sort of worked hard all week. A lot of people were put us down for getting relegated, and I mean, we just proved what we can do. I mean, obviously I thought Bohs played very well today, but we battled and we don't deserve to win, I think.
They say things come in 3s. In your case, they come in 10s. It's 10 years ago since that FAI Cup final.
Yeah, it's a long time ago now, and I'm still getting a win of it. But I remember this one a bit more, I think.
You will, and obviously playing against Bohs today, for whom you played with obviously for so long yourself.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, I still have a lot of friends playing at Bohs, so I'm sorry to see them lose, but I mean, I'd rather see myself winning them.
Well, I was talking to your wife Claire, and the baby is here as well today.
Yeah, she's only 8 months now, so big thrill to have her here. Delighted.
Special day.
Yeah, definitely.
Donald, congratulations to you once again. We're going to have a quick word with your manager, Martin Murray. Martin, what a fantastic occasion. As I said, it was going to be some cracking second half. Your nails must have been bitten off at that last 4 minutes.
Well, there was so much happening, and I was afraid to ask him how much was left. But I think it just shows you, I mean, the last few weeks we've probably been one of the best teams in the league, and unfortunately last week we got relegated, but hopefully this is some compensation for the magnificent support we've got today, so it's for them.
And what can you say about that man, Garry Haylock?
Well, Gary's been around a while, and if you look where he scored his second goal from, or even the first one, and that's a striker's instinct, and there ain't too many as good as Garry around, I tell you.
Martin, we'll have to do more of these interviews at Dundalk matches. It seems to be bringing you luck. Congratulations again.
You're watching Brian Kerr.
We've got the presentations, the medals being made. Taoiseach Bertie Ahern, TD, Milo Corcoran, President of the FAI, General Secretary of the FAI there, Brendan Menton on the right. And those the winners' medals to the Dundalk squad of that heroic goalkeeper John Connolly. And Donald Browan, having left the interview, up there to collect his medal, his second FAI Cup winners' medal after the one he won with Bohemians 10 years ago. And the only medal still to be presented, and the cup. Of course, the most important presentation of them all, David Crowley, the hometown captain. Milo Corcoran, the president of the FAI. There it is, that distinguished trophy. 80 years it's been competed for, Dundalk have won it again. The FAI Carlsberg Cup for 2002, and it belongs to Dundalk. David Crowley holds the trophy aloft. Absolute delight for Dundalk.
Well, some wonderful pictures there. A famous day this is for Dundalk Football Club. Brian Kerr got a mention there from somebody, I'm not quite sure who it was. And Brian, you wanted to say something about Dundalk's success.
Well, it was one of my fans from Dundalk having a goal. What I'd say, I was critical of Dundalk earlier this season, match with Shelbourne, particularly Garry Haylock, Martin Riley, Donald Brown and Steve McGuinness. But I have to say they were magnificent today. The last 7 or 8 games of the season have been fantastic. They were the key part of the team today. I see Steve McGuinness lapping her up. Fair play to them. They were excellent. They deserved to win the match. The fact that the referee sent off the player, I thought Paul McGowan had a very good game. It might have been a harsh sending off, but great win to Dundalk. They got it right. I said if they got the tactics right, they had a great chance, and they did their stuff. Second goal, set piece. Fair play to them. Great way to end the season. A pity that they went down. Well done, Martin Murray. Great job done. And I'm off to Cork as quick as I can because I got me team playing Holland on Wednesday. You know, all those Dundalk people who went today, they might find their way to Cork and cheer for us on Wednesday because they were brilliant today.
Well, best of luck to you, Brian, in that the under-19 playoff, the second leg of that against Holland on Wednesday. And thank you for your company today. I know you have to go and get your flight. It's leaving at 6:30, so you better dash.
Thanks.
Paul, what did you make of the whole thing?
It was great for Dundalk. I did feel, as I said, Garry and Matt Noyer felt that they could be a threat today, and as I said earlier on, given after seeing the Bohs team, I didn't really feel at the back that Stephen Caffrey and Colin Hawkins is a good partnership. I think that with a bit of pace of Martin, which initially led up to the sending off of Simon Webb, Garry played him in over the top, and now you could debate whether Colin Hawkins would have got back, but it was a great result. I mean, they done really well. Bohs they never got into that flowing rhythm.
Yes sir, 3 bags full! Finding words that rhyme can be so much fun! See how many words you can find that rhyme!